Greetings, everybody. Tanse Sarah Nasigasun. So, hello, my name is Sarah. It's a pleasure to be creating this video for you, and I hope you enjoy it. On my mother's side, I am Nihiao, Soto, and Sioux from Treaty 4 territory in Saskatchewan. And on my father's side, I carry Italian lineage. It is National Indigenous Peoples Day, a beautiful day for our Indigenous kin to come together and to celebrate and to, really celebrate the beauty of our culture and the beauty of our people. It's also, currently with the current news of, remains that are being found, across Canada at many what the government called residential schools. I prefer to call them institutions because schooling isn't really an accurate depiction of what went on in those places. I want to take a second, before I get into discussing what I'm here to share about. Just to start us off with a song, and take that time. Our songs are our prayers. We have songs for everything. To mark times in life, to celebrate, to mourn, to come together when we're eating. So I want to start us off with a song that I have permission to sing. Laura Grizzly Paws had composed a song called Displacement. And she is from the Stamik territory. And I want to open with this song, and, maybe we could all, take a minute here during this song and send some prayers, to our communities who are in sadness, who are in grief. To think of those little ones who lost their lives way too quick. They didn't get to grow up. They didn't get to live beautiful lives. They didn't get to, to have their family with them. And my prayer for today is that, those remains that are found, that they're repatriated, and they're able to go home so that they can go to their final resting place. So I want to start with this song. Yeah, thank you for taking that moment with me. When, of course, I'm here to talk about, Indigenous medicines and the way that, I know my people use our medicines. And I'm only sharing what I know. Many of our peoples come from many beautiful nations that carry different teachings. And so, I'm here to share what I've been taught, and how I've been mentored, in the ways of our medicines. And I'd like to acknowledge this morning the beautiful Lekwungen territories, now known as the Songhees and Esquimalt nations, that I'm recording this film, and acknowledge the territories that you are on as well. And I also would like to, raise my hands in gratitude, for the Greater Victoria Public Library for asking me to put this together. We talk about, reclamation, we talk about reconciliation, and part of that reconciliation piece, I believe, is when our non-Indigenous they want to have that allyship. And a piece to being a good ally is hearing and listening and learning about Indigenous people, so you have a better understanding, of how we walk, and how we can work together. So thank you to the library and their organizers for that. So when we talk about medicine across Turtle Island, we're talking about physical medicines, but we're also talking about that medicine that soothes your heart and soul. So songs are a type of medicine. Getting together with your family is a medicine for us. Just anything that lifts your spirit and makes you happy, or switches, say you're in sort of a slump, and something happens, and it allows you to change your focus, and your mood picks up. And so that's what we also refer to as that medicine for our heart. So the first medicine, the first way I work with medicines is that smudging. And there are many different ways our people smudge, and it's a cleansing. And you may have seen this, done in community. But I want to share. So what I've done before I've started filming, to be able to ground myself, in the space, to be able to share, what I want to share with you, is I did a smudge. And for those of you who don't know, so smudging is usually done out of an abalone shell. This is mine. It's well loved. You can see, my smudge from this morning in there, just the ash. And I smudged this morning with some white sage, also known as buffalo sage. So this is what I had smudged with. And what I will do is I'll take off a couple leaves, and it's a really sweet smell. I'll take off a couple leaves. I'll place them in the bowl, and then I'll light that. There are two ways when you're in ceremony. We like to use wooden matches, just because you're in ceremony and you want to keep it as traditional and as humble as possible. And so we'll use matches. When I'm not in ceremony, I'm okay with using a lighter. So I'll just stick it in the smudge bowl, and then I'll light it, and that smoke. I will use, I like to, so most of our people will smudge. You're smudging your body, so you're doing that cleansing. So you'll do your hair, your heart, and then your body, and you'll sweep that smoke down your legs, and then your back. I like to do 4 times on my heart. That's just how I've come to do it and how I've come to smudge. But many people do it different ways. And so then once I'm done smudging, a teaching I carry as well as these ashes here, they will always get taken. They will always get taken and put back to the earth, um, out of respect for the medicine and what it's provided for me. So for our our people who don't smudge, smudging is practiced more back east, in the territories that I come from, and here in Salish territory, it's more. Of course, their sacred medicine is the cedar tree, and the cedar tree has provided everything to the peoples of these lands, from clothing to housing to canoes, totem poles, and also in those ceremonies, the cedar is used, rather than smudging or like lighting it and using the smoke. It's the cedar branch. I've got a cute little one here. I can show you. And there are specific beautiful medicine carriers that specifically have the gifts to work with this beautiful cedar, and they will do a brush off, and that's using the cedar and it going along your body. I've been fortunate to be able to be a part of that ceremony and have that work done. And of course, along with the cedar, it's those women who carry those gifts, those medicine keepers. Their hearts are connected to that cedar, and you can really tell when they're doing that work that they're communicating with that cedar, and the cedar is letting them know where you're being affected. I might, like, personally was going through some things, and the woman, a true knowledge holder in medicine woman, she was able to pinpoint what I was carrying, and it was beautiful because she was talking to me gently, and as the cedar was brushing off, and then she says, okay, you're done. And I walked away feeling lighter, and feeling better about myself, and I was able to let go of that negativity that I was carrying. So our medicines really are all of our medicines really are sacred in that way. So yeah, I'm just reflecting back now. It was beautiful, and it's not really, when you're in ceremony, you can't really put it into words, because those ceremony and you're working with those medicines, when you're in that space, that time is for you. You could have ceremony and people ask, oh, hey, I heard you did this, how did it go? You don't have to share that, because many of those things happen within your heart, and they're for your spirit only. So don't ever feel obligated to share that experience, because it's a very personal experience. And so if people ask you, they're going to have to be okay with, hey, you know what, I really enjoyed that. It was really amazing, but that's all I want to share. I want to keep everything else um, within myself, and that's totally okay. More more medicines that I love. I love our sweetgrass, and I'm not sure if you've seen sweetgrass before, but this grows more in the eastern areas of Turtle Island. It loves sort of sort of sort of swampy areas to be able to grow in, and it's got a beautiful sweet scent. Um, this is one of my favorites. Of course, you will always see it in a braid. And one of the teachings of the sweetgrass is, so it's called the kindness medicine. Um, and it really does, like, you could also use this for smudging. I would light the skinnier end on this sweetgrass and use it the same way I would, the shell and the sage. Just that, bringing the smoke to your body and cleansing in that way. And then, like, you'll have the thicker part. This is always the end I keep. And usually what I do is, if I get to this, this end, I'll end up grinding it up, and I can mix it in with the sage. And then I have a nice mix, and then I'm using the whole sweetgrass braid, and I'm not wasting any. And so usually the teaching when you're braiding, what I've heard from a Nihiao or Cree elder is there's seven braids. I'm not sure if this one has 7 braids, but 7 strands in each braid. And I haven't counted this one, but this was a gift. And that's following the 7 sacred teachings. And so that is just, it's woven into the medicine, and it's a reminder to be guided by those 7 sacred teachings. And that's probably a whole nother video to talk about, to share about. But you could look it up if you were curious about that. Yeah. Many of our people, because, these medicines, they can only be harvested at certain times. So many of our people, there's travel, there's cost involved, there's taking time off work. So some of our people have been able to start their own traditional medicine gardens. I even know of a couple here on Lekwungen territory, and they're even growing sweetgrass and sage. I'm not sure about buffalo sage. This is also from back east, but there is a coastal sage. Coastal sage is a thinner sage, and it grows a lot taller. And this, I love buffalo sage because it's a, how would I describe it? Like a sharper smell. So it really, like, when you light it, it's like boom, like you're smudging. Whereas like coastal sage, it's like a gentler sort of scent. Yeah, I love it. And also I want to share, so smudging is used many different ways, many different times. Like I shared earlier, it's like that grounding, but also if I'm doing medicine work, let's say, like, I've harvested an eagle before. And those, that harvesting the eagle is removing those feathers and doing a ceremony prior to working with that animal. And while I'm working with that eagle, I will have my smudge lit. I will, any tools that I'm using, I will smudge those tools off. And then I will smudge myself off. Again, that cleansing piece. And of course, when you're doing, sacred work, like working with an animal such as an eagle, you always want to, it's like you're in that ceremony place, because you're showing respect for that animal who gave its life, and that animal who is going to now provide you with the beautiful feathers and the beautiful, pieces of itself, that you'll use in ceremony. So that's, that's that grounding, that cleansing. Um, what had shared with me, and I'm not too sure how accurate it is. It does make a little bit of sense, but I will share it anyway because it is interesting. Once it was shared with me that um, smudging originated from a hunting practice. So before hunters would go out, um, they would smudge their bodies. They would get that smoke on every part, anything that they were wearing, um, and that was to disguise their human scent. Um, it makes sense. I'm not. I don't know how accurate it is, but it is. It does make a lot of sense because when you do go out into the bush, animals have a keen sense of smell. So, um, it would make sense that smudging would disguise that, and so that you would be successful in that hunt. Um, what else about smudging? Well, harvesting. Um, so I guess when you go out, or if you ever get a chance to go out and witness harvesting or going to get these medicines, there is a traditional practice, and there's a ceremony to that as well. You don't just go out and pluck medicines. There are specific teachings and ways, because those medicines that you're going to begin using, they're going to provide for you, and so you want to be gentle, be mindful in how you obtain them. um, like for instance with sweetgrass, um, you would go to a local indigenous person who knows where sweetgrass grows. You would ask, I'm really, really interested in harvesting my own sweetgrass. Um, would that be okay? Could you take me to that place? And in my people, we would offer tobacco as an offering, of that ask. And if that person said yes, you would then you would go with them, and you would bring tobacco, and you would give a tobacco offering to that plant, to say thank you. It's once you pluck this, it becomes that medicine, but it also that ends its cycle in where it was resting. So you want to offer that up, um, as a piece of that protocol, in that respect, because what I was taught from my elders is that if you don't offer that tobacco, and take that time to be with that medicine before you take it from the ground, it's not going to provide for you what you need when you use it. um, so you want to ensure that work is done, that harvesting work is done, in a good way, in a mindful way, and in a respectful way. um, the other piece is, I've got another medicine here I'll show you, which is so I can talk about the harvesting a bit more. So this is one of my absolute favorites. This is called Devil's Club, and as you can see from its prickly appearance, it's an accurate name. Um, this medicine is incredible. This medicine, when you create a tea with it, is a cancer fighter, and it's good for diabetes, blood pressure. When you make it into an ointment or a salve, it's great for arthritis, um, joint pain, bruising, sores. And when you have it in the tea form, um, it's that teaching of all medicines um, will affect everybody a different way. So when I drink tea from the Devil's Club medicine, it energizes me and it makes me like happy, like ready, good to go. But I've heard other people who, if they drink tea, it settles their spirit. So yeah, and medicines will hit you the way you need it. You need it to work for you. The medicine just, it knows, what you need. And so for this one, um, the just real quick before I talk about the harvesting and a story behind this one is this the medicine for this plant is, so what you do is you scrape off these spikes, so you get rid of all of these spikes here, and then what you want is, you can sort of see, so there's the brown, which is the bark, and then you have the core. What you want, the medicine is in the bark of this. So you'll scrape off all the needles. I do this outside because I do not want to accidentally step on one of these. They really, 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 really hurt. And they will hurt for a day or two. So you really want to be very gentle in when you're harvesting this. And then you get the bark off. I like to use a knife, and so you'll end up with these shavings, and you can make a tea with that. Usually, what I'll do is 6 cup of tea, and I'll do, let's say, a tablespoon of the Devil's Club shavings, and you boil that and you simmer that for a good, I would say 20 minutes, half an hour. To pull out those medicine, and you'll notice when it's ready, the water will turn like a yellowy, sort of a dark yellowy color, and that means it's ready to go. It's good to drink. And with anything, when you're first starting out with medicines and you're trying a new medicine, take it slow, because you don't know how your body's going to react to it. So, if you're having your first cup of like Devil's Club tea, I'd recommend, maybe have half a cup, see what it's doing for you. And if it feels great, and it's okay for you, finish up the rest of that. But it does affect everybody differently, not in a bad way. It's just knowing how the medicine like moves with you. Yeah. Oh, and back to that harvesting piece. Like with the sweetgrass only growing specifically back east, Devil's Club only grows in the more northern parts, in BC as well. Was over on the mainland. It's another plant that likes a dark swampy environment. So with any of these medicines, I'm fortunate, like for this Devil's Club, that this medicine grows in my husband's territory, in the Lekwungen territory, up what is now called Campbell River. And so I'm fortunate enough that I didn't have to go out and find somebody from those lands. I married into those lands. So my husband was able to take me to a spot that he knows well from his childhood, and he guided me in taking me out to receive this medicine and to harvest this medicine. And that's an important piece to our medicines, is you don't just go out and take it. If it's a traditional Indigenous medicine, and it grows locally, did ask, do that footwork and say, I'd love to harvest this medicine, and I'd really like somebody to guide me in doing that, in a good way. Yeah. Be careful, I don't want to poke myself here. Yeah, and so that's, those are, those are some of, the teachings I carry. And it really, it really is important to carry that respect. And that's, I guess, what I want to leave you with today is that respect. Actually, I want to leave you with I want to share what this plant is behind me here. This is what we call our grandmother tobacco plant. So this tobacco plant has I'm not harvested. It's given us like thousands upon thousands of seeds, and so we've been able to replant and replant and replant and replant tons of tobacco plants, which we gift. We gift out to our family and friends who do ceremony and who carry the teachings of, what tobacco means. And this plant, it's gorgeous. You can see just how big the leaves are here. This plant is the first plant and one of the most sacred plants of my Nihiao side. It was the first plant that we really started using. And of course, we use it, for asking. And we use it in our, traditional pipes in ceremonies. Pipe carriers will load that up with the traditional tobacco because, of course, you don't want, the store-bought ones today, which are, of course, full of terrible toxins. So what we will do is like this big one here that I'm holding. I will pluck that soon. Oh, I keep going backwards because it's like a mirror image. I will cut that off soon, and I will hang it to dry. And then once we have, we'll lay out on like a mesh sort of grate, I guess it is, and we'll let that dry. And it takes a couple weeks to fully dry, and you want to ensure that it's fully dry because or else, if you're traveling and you have it could mold. So you really want to ensure that tobacco is like bone dry before you start transporting it. And then what we do is we'll use it for gifting at ceremony, for trading at ceremony. So it's kind of it becomes sort of like a currency when you come to ceremony because when you're in ceremony, tobacco is used so much that you want to make sure that you're stocked up. I think, I feel like I'm rambling now because there are so many thoughts I'm trying to get out to you, but I think I've covered most of the points that I wanted to get across today when talking about our medicines, the Indigenous medicines. I really want to thank you for taking the time to listen. And it's a beautiful day. And medicines, will always be a part of how we do things. And I wish I had, maybe an in-person time. Maybe that can happen one day, but and then there could be some handling of the medicines as well. But I really want to thank you and raise my hands again to the Greater Victoria Public Library for asking me to share. And I hope you all take good care and have taken something away from what I've shared today. So just raise my hands and say, Hi, Chikasiyam.